just be in here.
Are we just doing it from your office?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this is actually not even my office, but Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Shatondra Lister. I am one of the senior transfer advisors in our admissions office. I'm joined by Dr. Noreen Hauk, chair of our nursing department. So throughout the presentation today, we're going to talk about the RN-to-B.S. nursing program. So we have a couple of different options for that, both our online program and then our kind of hybrid on-campus online program through SUNY Adirondack, which is where our branch campus is housed in Queensbury, New York. So we'll talk about some of those different options today. Throughout the presentation, you are able to actually chat in any questions that you have, and we can actually answer those throughout. So if there are specific questions that you have, please let us know. We want to make this presentation as much about the questions that you have as we can. So I am going to jump right in by kind of talking about some of the FastPacs of Plattsburgh as a whole, because I think it's important to kind of talk about the fact that Plattsburgh is a brick and mortar campus. So in terms of the online program that you're getting, I get a lot of transfer students into the program that ask, is there going to be a distinction on my degree? Is there going to be something in which shows that I was in an online program as opposed to being in a brick and mortar campus? It's not. So it's going to be the same regardless of whether you were physically here in Plattsburgh or whether you are doing the program online, which I think is a real strong suit.
When you graduate, you're a Plattsburgh graduate.
Exactly. Yep. So I think that that's helpful. So in terms of FastPacs about Plattsburgh, we were founded in 1889. We had the kind of roots of being a state normal and training institution. We've grown significantly since then. We have about 5,500 students in total, and we have an increasingly growing online presence. So it's something that we have seen growth in with our RN-to-B.S. nursing program. We have an accounting program. We have some master's programs that are in an online format. So I think we are really developing ways in which not only are we attracting more online students, but also that we're finding new ways to support those students as they go throughout their journey. In terms of kind of the things that make us unique, I think where our students are coming from is quite unique. So we have 32 states that are represented, 73 countries. We are also accredited as a whole by Middle States. And with that, that 32 states that are represented, we have some students within our program that are online. I think a benefit of that is that students actually get a discount in terms of the cost that it's going to cost them to attend here if they're doing a program in an online format if you're coming from another state. So it's actually only 1.5 times the amount that you would pay for in-state tuition. Yep. So it's definitely something where you're able to still have that be cost effective, and I think that that's pretty important to.
And the nursing program itself is accredited by AACN.
Okay,
so
awesome.
National Nursing Accreditation.
Fantastic. Yep. And then as I talked about before, we have both our main campus here in Plattsburgh and then about an hour and a half south. We do have a branch campus located in Queensbury, New York. It's actually on the SUNY Adirondack campus. And there are 4 completion programs that are RN-to-B.S. nursing program. There's criminal justice, psychology, and business administration, as well as some graduate programs as well. So there are different options for students kind of depending on what your needs are. We are here to talk about the RN-to-B.S. nursing program. So in terms of our students at a glance, we have about 160 matriculated transfer students that are participating both, again, in that online RN-to-B.S. nursing program. It's the most popular option for our students. And then we also are, for that as a total, in terms of our fall admission, we had about 50 new transfer students into the program. So can you kind of talk about, in terms of, this is showing kind of our students at a glance, can you talk about what is the population of students within our program in terms of where they're coming from, who they are?
So, excuse me, we have students who are actually completing their associate degree program and are able to enroll and take classes while they are completing their associate degree. And so really seamlessly continue on and complete their degree. Sometimes depending on how much coursework they have done, they can finish within 1 semester of graduating from their associate degree program. That's for the very ambitious.
Yes.
And but most students are working RNs, or they've been graduated a year or some length of time, and seek to come back and take the average now is more like 2 courses, but 1 to 2 courses a semester. We offer courses in the winter session and summer session. So it's kind of go at your own pace. If you need a slower pace, if you have a lot going on in your personal life, a lot of responsibilities, then you can set your own pace for the most part, which means you can set it as a fast pace or, whatever fits your lifestyle. We're also moving towards offering 7-week courses during the regular session. So summer and winter courses run from usually 5 weeks, and then 7-week courses. So you could take 2 courses in the fall semester, but take them one at a time, so you're kind of focused and directed instead of taking 2 courses and splitting your attention. So we're looking for ways to make it possible for students to get the degree done and also fit their lifestyle. So as flexible as possible.
That's great. Yeah. So when students are coming in with their associate's degree in nursing, and I know it's going to be different for each student. If a student is going full-time, what's the expected completion for them versus if a student is deciding to do part-time?
Most of the students do part-time. So we're seeing an increase. Like there's more students who are doing full-time, but they tend to be the new graduates from the associate degree programs or something. But it's really, one thing that's unique about our RN students is they're all very individual experience that they bring to the table, and life needs and coursework that they have completed. So our goal and our faculty really supporting the individual students' needs, and so designing a program that really fits what they're going through in their lifestyle. So what was your question? How fast can they finish?
Yeah. So typically if a student is doing one or the either option.
It's usually considered like a 2-year completion degree. But I think very few students, if they choose to go at that rate, if they were to attend 1 summer session or 1 winter session, they'd be done in a year or a year and a half.
That's awesome. Okay. So in terms of the RN-to-B.S. program, our program, it is, as Noreen said, it's designed as that completion program. So students that are enrolling into the degree have to have that associate's degree in nursing. And then for that, the program, this is a program option for students who are eligible for licensure as an RN and seek to advance their education through earning a bachelor's degree. So I think that's important to note, just because we do have some students that sometimes are thinking that that pre-nursing track is going to be an option for them to come into. So students have to be kind of on track to get that associate's degree. Students don't have to have it prior to applying. So I always like to tell students that if you're in like the last semester or 2 of your degree, don't let that hold you back from putting in the application, because we have students that think that they have to wait until that May graduation date.
No, I think there's a path for students to take some of our first level courses concurrently while they're in their associate degree program. And that's a very efficient way to complete your degree. So we're happy to talk to you about that. Yeah. Yes, that's a good point. So you do, though, need to be in a program that leads to RN licensure. So we are a post-licensure program. So that means before you get into our 400 level courses, you need to have passed your NCLEX and have an actual license before we can let you take those classes. But there's plenty of 300 level classes that you can take while you're studying for your NCLEX or while you're in your associate degree program.
Oh, that's great. I think one of the big things too that is the good takeaway both from the department and also here from admissions is let us know early in your track. Like as you're starting to think about your associate's degree program, really start making that connection with us, because it's so much easier for us, I think, to advise. There are some, while most of the associate's degree programs are very rigid, there are options for students to take a couple of electives where we can more properly advise this would be a better fit for us. You know, if you're going to take a math class, as opposed to taking a general math class, take a statistics course, because that's going to be, you know, the class that is going to best suit your program, so that you're not then getting to the end of the program and realizing, oh no, what do I know?
Yeah.
I have another math class, I have another cognate class outside of the nursing program. So the earlier you let us know, the better. So if you could kind of describe what the classes in the program look like, what would that?
So, well, the first class I recommend most students take is our entry-level foundation class, which has a lot to do with just letting you know about the program and help you develop some of the basic skills you'll need for both online learning or for baccalaureate level learning, which usually includes a little more writing. So it's that introduction and give you the skills, some library skills that you might not have gotten in your associate degree program. One of the other first level courses I encourage students to take is health assessment. And some students just choose to take that course in particular while they're in their associate degree program because it really enhances their clinical skills. So those are two of the core courses. And then we have informatics and health promotion and social justice course. We have a variety of electives and we're always developing new ones. And then the two nurses call it clinical. We're kind of moving to the applied learning language because clinicals in the completion program are not like the clinicals you do in your associate degree program where you go to a hospital and take care of a patient, but instead we're exploring other professional roles. So it's learning more about the system of healthcare, how the hospital works in leadership and management, or public health and public health. So you'll work with industry leaders side by side for a period of time. And what our graduates tell us is how much this has helped advance their career or open up opportunities. I'm sorry.
That's right. Oh no, you're fine.
Should I get
Yeah, sure. All right. And I think too, as we're still on this and talking about the completion of or the continuation of the cognate classes that I had mentioned in the beginning, we had within the last couple of years a shift from more of the science-based classes within our cognate. So can you kind of talk about some of that switch up? Because we still have some students that I think of that old model when there was the...
a lot of chemistry and things like that. So what we've done is we've given students more credit for the experiences that they bring from their associate degree program and from working. And we also have acknowledged the value of nursing as a science. And so we no longer require like chemistry, Chem 101. If you bring in your anatomy and physiology to the program, you don't need that. But instead, those credits you can take some of our nursing electives or nursing science courses or other electives at the college sometimes.
I always like
That's
to
a
kind
big
of
change.
I like to insert that in just because I will still talk to students on the road that talk about like, oh, I love your program, but I don't want to take biochemistry. I'm like, well, you don't have to. So, and then it changes. So, all right. So, course advisement, I think, is something that we get tons of questions from people about. How am I going to select classes? Am I going to have to do the entire thing on my own? You know, what is that step? So, can you kind of talk when a student, we'll talk first from a student that is first coming in, that has just paid their deposit, is getting ready to register for classes. What would that look like for them?
Okay, so they are immediately assigned to a program advisor. And that advisor you'll have throughout the program. And so you develop a plan of study that we recognize will change. We really do recognize and appreciate the complexity of your lives. But tentatively, what your goals are in trying to match a plan of study that will help you achieve them. So we'll look at what courses you already bring in and help you figure out how many courses you really have to complete based on the experience you bring. Another way we take advantage of student experience is sometimes students may be certified in an area or have certification in an area. And in some courses, you can bring that experience to the course and either build from where you are, so you're not relearning what you've already learned, or that can count for some of your experience within that course. So you'll bring that perspective to your coursework. But the advisement system, I think, is one of the real advantages of service that we have to help you through the program.
So
Whether you're brand new
Mhm.
or whether you kind of been taking a course as a non-matriculated student or whatever.
yeah, I think that that's great to note, that if you are taking classes as a non-matriculated student, that you still have that access
Yeah.
to work with
Right.
advisement here. So I think at many schools, if you are taking a non-matriculated class, it's just like
You're out in the dark,
you take what you're supposed to, and you fit into like whatever class that you're able to fit into, and it may not be the best course that you could have selected to set yourself up for success at a later point in time. So that's good to know. And then for current students, as they are kind of going through the program and selecting classes, they're going to have that autonomy to figure out which classes are best suited for them with the advisor.
With the advisor, yeah. So they'll help you find courses, help you plan when courses are offered and when they fit into your schedule. Yeah, you're not left alone at all in the registration process. I think usually what I find is that initial plan of study is, a nice long conversation with your advisor.
Mhm.
And then we'd like you to touch base with us every semester to make sure you're on track, or what if changes have happened in your life and you want to adjust your plan. And then a lot of students, really are just looking for that personal independence so they can go on and take care of it themselves.
Yeah, and as we're on this, it kind of brings in my brain, because we do have a lot of our nursing students that their program path definitely is different from, I think, many of our students that are here physically on the campus. So there's a lot of times where a student will take a semester off, will move around, may have a get pregnant, may have a job opportunity that comes up that allows that, or that forces them to
Requires
have
their
to,
attention.
takes them. The nursing department works very closely with me. I'm also our readmission advisor. So with that, our goal is to try to make that process of returning smooth. So that is definitely something where we work with the department. We treat those RN-to-B.S. entry students a little bit differently than we do other readmission students, just to prevent that cost that can accrue as a student is stopping and starting their career, and making sure that they're able to kind of come back right where they originally were and into the program. So always a good point to think about as you're going through, and knowing that if you do take a semester where you're not going to be taking classes, that there is a smooth path to still continue on with us.
We really recognize the complexity of life after college,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what I think of a lot of our students are.
So we kind of touched a little bit on the experiential learning opportunity, more from that goal of getting experiences that are going to lead to more opportunities kind of in management and moving up in their career. So those are those are experiential learning opportunities in which a student is working with the clinical coordinator to find appropriate experiences in their region.
Right. And that's one of the important things, is that you will do your applied learning where you are. You don't have to come to Plattsburgh for that. And applied learning is really the hallmark of a quality nursing program. Nursing is an applied profession, and so many nurses say, I learn so much better when I do something. So the two major experiences besides health assessment are in leadership and management and public health. And we've also offered a study abroad. Is that one of those?
No, it's not. But
Excuse me. So we had in the past a study abroad experience that students have been able to take that course in the winter session. We've gone to Mexico, Costa Rica, and last year to Peru. And so RN students take advantage of that. It's about a week or to 10 days out of country.
Mhm.
And that experience can be used for your public health course clinical experience. So that's been a real opportunity. But in addition to that, we also have public policy experiences that students can go to Washington, D.C., or visit their local legislator where they are. So the leadership and management is usually an acute care experience with a leader in healthcare and nursing. So yeah, we help you, we talk to you early. So those are the two courses that we ask that you do get in touch with us and do some pre-planning for you'll need to take perhaps some days off during the week to attend them, but most students find it manageable.
I never thought about that study abroad experience.
Oh, that's
as
been
an
wonderful.
opportunity,
So
that's
I've
really neat.
actually led a couple of those with Professor Bongiorno. And yeah, the RN students, it's been just not something they ever considered before, especially as a working RN, but to take a week vacation and go do it, it's exciting.
That's great. All right. I'm just checking. So we don't have any questions yet. So again, just a reminder, because I know that there are a couple of people that have come in since we originally started. If you do have questions throughout the presentation, definitely feel free to let us know, just so that we're making sure that we're touching base on any of the questions that you may have. So the next thing I want to talk about is that preparation and support. So I know that for many students that are already working nurses, one of the questions that I've seen, and I'm sure that you get a lot, what is the professional advantages to getting your BS as opposed to remaining with your
Well, I bet these guys know that in nursing in New York State, we recently passed the BSN 10 law. So students, that come to us know that they really are motivated to complete their degree efficiently. And employers, we've gone through periods of time where employers are really favoring the nurses with a bachelor's degree, and especially for advancement and job opportunities that open, even if you are in nursing already, leadership positions and new opportunities, surprising opportunities too. So our graduates have gone into many, many different fields and gone on to graduate school. So our program is rigorous and really valued by graduate schools. We've had a lot of our students go become nurse anesthetists or family nurse practitioners, as well as nursing leaders and undergraduate school to become faculty members. So,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah. I've always noticed that with specifically the RN-to-B.S students, they're nervous when they originally start to go back, but once they get that bug of oh, I can do this, then they just continue.
The biggest barrier is starting, right? And that's why we have that entry level course to kind of make sure they're skilled and well prepared, and then they're completely self-efficient for the most part. As a matter of fact, we have to say, hold the horses, come talk to us, where do you want your clinical experience? Because they're just off and running.
And then another thing I want to talk about is the faculty in the program, because I think that faculty are such a big part of that experience, since those are, I think, your connection.
Yes,
to the
we are
experience as a
so
whole.
fortunate with our faculty. First of all, most of them are real experts in online education and are certified nurse educators. And then we have the advantage of great partners who are working in the profession in our leadership and management instructors, been the nursing director for organizations and has had great experience. Our public health nurses faculty have been directors of public health counties and systems. So, they're very skilled and knowledgeable faculty member, very esteemed in the community. So you get the advantage of all their experience and stories and guidance. And one thing about SUNY Plattsburgh, all of our programs, is I think, very personal relationship that you have with your faculty members. Students know the faculty know the students. And we have a long-term relationship with our students. We're supporting them as their career advances.
And that's great. I think that's so good to know that is still an ability for you to make those connections.
That's one of the funny things people say about online learning is they think it's cold and distant. And I think people are always so surprised how personal it is. Because you really are developing strong one-on-one relationships, and you'll develop a real sense of community in the classroom. You'll get to know your fellow students, and you'll see them in classes again, and there's this online party of, oh, how are you? I heard you had a baby.
And then we've kind of talked quite a bit about the online program, but I do want to talk a little bit about that hybrid program for if there are any students that are in the Queensbury area. What does that look like? How are the classes taught?
Those classes are taught on Tuesdays, and they're set up as hybrid, so you meet every other week in the classroom on campus. And it's the same program, the same curriculum. We have faculty at Queensbury. We're, again, very fortunate with our faculty and the support at Queensbury. It's a beautiful campus. And we have a great relationship with SUNY Adirondack, who built a beautiful simulation center and and they're opening their doors to us, so we're looking for some collaboration there. Yeah, so we also have a really good relationship with the area hospitals. We've offered some classes at Glens Falls from the SUNY Adirondack campus. So that's another way, especially for people who are still really value that face-to-face connection and maybe a little intimidated by the online piece. You still need to be able to have a computer. You need to have technology. That's really part of any nursing program nowadays, that you would have to bring that technology to the forefront. That's how we get our information, and that's, how we're using the technology to stay current and learn. But you also have that face-to-face connection or every week if you take more than one course. And we try to keep all the courses on a single day for the most part, so that students can anticipate that. Mm-hmm. And we've learned from our clinical partners that Tuesdays for most of our students is a good day for them to say to their manager, I just need Tuesdays off to go to class, and then they have that day to study.
I think that's great also that you have that connection to like those different partners, and that the adjustments and the things that you make are based on
that's the thing about nursing is we're not really distant from our practice area. We are partnered with our practice areas, and we try to keep a curriculum that is very current and speaking to the current issues, and healthcare is changing so fast. And so that's a great advantage of having our instructors who are involved in the work environment, and also that we are trying to keep it very current. So a lot of quality and safety issues we're developing, and we're looking at developing new courses that speak specifically to things that the nurses are seeing in the clinical practice and want to get more experience.
All right, so hopefully from this has inspired you, if you have not put in an application to make that connection, or if you have, that you're thinking that this is a good fit for you. In terms of what we're looking for, again, we're going to need you to be on that track to getting your associate's degree in nursing, and then we need an overall GPA of a 2.5. So with that, we do accumulate that average across all of your institutions. So if you have taken, and I get that many times when I'm talking to RNs, is that many of them, they have gone and they've had a completely different path. They've graduated from another degree program. We need all of the transcripts because we're going to accumulate that overall GPA for you. Additionally, that can be beneficial to some students, because while they may have had only a couple of those gen eds in their associate's degree program, they have quite a few of those classes and a lot of electives that they can transfer in from another program, so those courses aren't lost. I think that is
so people who have a lot of prior college outside their associate degree program, those are the students I really recommend consider contacting us early and taking some courses concurrently. They can be very efficient. And then, so it's averaged over their entire academic experience. So if you had a rough beginning, change course, and are getting better grades, yes, you're still on target.
Yeah, which that is very common. So don't think that if that is something that you had, that you're going to be completely disqualified from the overall review process. We do look holistically. If you had several years ago that, that first not so great entry into college happened, let us know. We really want to make sure that, when we're reviewing, it's based on the coursework in the area in which you're going into. So again, let us know, let us help you, let us figure out what your path to enrolling in the program are going to be. In terms of dates and deadlines, we do now have 3 start terms in which students can actually put in an application for admission. We've had the traditional fall and spring semesters, but this year we actually launched the ability for students to put in some summer applications. So if you are interested in that summer start, it does allow for you to come in, as opposed to before, students were doing non-matriculated classes and they weren't potentially allowed to have that count towards their aid. It now does. So it's a much more seamless process for students. Again, it's a goal of making sure that those entry terms are a seamless start for students to not, be thrown off. So for the spring semester, keep in mind these are rolling admission dates. So the November 1st application date has gone by. We accept students right up until the start of classes, and we see that a lot with our nursing students. So if you haven't put in the application, you still have time. Now with that deposit deadline, since we are less than a month out from December 1, if you get accepted from this point on, you have 30 days from the point in which you were accepted to put in your deposit. And that ensures that if you decided that you wanted to defer it for another semester, or if you weren't able to come, it allows for you to get that refund if you put it in before that December 1st date. Summer entry, we would like to see applications by around May 1st with a deposit deadline of around July 1. And then for fall, we would like to see those applications by around May 1st for a deposit deadline of around May 1. And again, those are very subject to change. We continue, like I said, to accept well into the summer, well into the winter term for students coming into those areas. Students are going to need to submit an application for admission. That can be done through the SUNY application or the common application. We don't have a preference, but especially for those students that are in the last semester or 2 of their associate's degree, it is important to note that if you are going to be graduating with your associate's degree, if you apply with the SUNY application and you indicate that you're going to be graduating with your associates, it can waive your application fee for up to 7 schools. So that can allow for you to save some money. And that's always, a great thing to do. So again, we don't have a preference. We're going to need all of the transcripts from any schools that you've attended. And then if we need additional information, we'll request it. For most students, though, that's pretty much the material that we'll need. And then we move forward with transferring credit, which is always a big question that I get. It's definitely something in which you want to make sure that you're maximizing the credits that you've taken, especially if you were in a previous associate's degree or 4-year program. You want to make sure that you're able to transfer in that coursework. If I'm looking at it to make a decision, I want to make sure that is able to transfer in. And we are very transfer friendly, both with the community colleges, other SUNY schools, private schools, in-state, out-of-state. So we pretty much take everything that you are doing. So we'll take a maximum of 67 credits from a 2-year school. So from any of the community colleges. We will take a maximum of 84 credits from any 4-year colleges that you've taken credit from. Also, I think a lot of the students that I work with within the RN-to-B.S nursing program forget about some of that high school credit that they took. So if you took an AP exam when you were in high school, especially if that was credit in which was given to you for English, or if that's how you got out of having to take out of math, chemistry, remember that, because we do need that as official score report. We won't need it to make an admissions decision, but you'll want to make sure you remember to send that, just so that we're able to actually award you credit for English 101. Many people, they'll forget about that. It's on your transcript from the school that you previously attended, but it doesn't show us the grades or anything that we need to actually officially award you credit for it. So remember that. We'll take any of that coursework, AP, CLEP, any IB credit that you've taken. And then also military credit. If you were in the military, send us stuff. We'll be able to look at it. If it's advanced coursework, it's always stuff that we can bring to different departments to see what that looks like for you. For students that are in an AS program or had a previous bachelor's degree, if you complete your SUNY general educational requirement with that degree, that will waive you from our general education series with the exception of global issues. So that can definitely save you some actual completion of gen ed credit. So if you're able to complete it, that's another reason we definitely encourage you to get in contact with us, because we can take a look if there are some additional classes that you can potentially take that will waive you from that and really allow you to focus on your nursing classes when you come in, then we'll definitely do that for you. And then before we end, I wanted to give just another second, to see, are there any questions that anybody from the audience has? Just because we want to make sure that prior to heading out, that we're able to answer anything that you may be thinking about. Another thing that I didn't mention in that transfer and credit slide is the fact that at this point in time, all of our credit evaluations that we do for transfers are done at the point of acceptance. That is different than it's been in the past. So if you applied to us previously and you were told that you had to wait till your admissions deposit to submit, that is different this year. So all students will get a credit evaluation usually within about 2 to 3 weeks of an acceptance. So if you do have specific questions, or if you really would like for us to preliminarily look at your credit before you put in that application, we definitely can. So I would send us that to our admission. If you can send us an unofficial transcript to our admissions email. So it's just admissions@plattsburgh.edu. Then we can take a look at it and give you an idea of how things will come into the program. But we will definitely do a full comprehensive review. And then we actually load that into our DegreeWorks audit system so that you're actually able to see exactly how your credit is going to transfer and what you have left to complete within that degree. And the department can see that too. So if you then decide to make that connection with Noreen and you're talking to her, she can see that, and as you're talking, can give you an idea of what to do moving forward. So it doesn't look like we have any questions, but again, if you do have questions at a later point in time, reach out to us. Admissions@plattsburgh.edu is a great way for you to make that email connection to us, or feel free to give our office a call. That's right on our website. But thank you so much for spending some time this morning with us.
Yes.
And have a great day.
We look forward to meeting you.
Yes.